A very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome on the Sunset Safari, where for the past 3-4 days the Mara team has been experiencing quite severe storms at around about the beginning of the Sunset Safari, and usually they tend to blow off. And a special warm welcome to Pinwiddy Elementary School as well as a Port Tucketville Elementary School. It's lovely to have you kids joining us. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Fergus is on camera with me.
Hello.
And we are live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya. So you'll actually be on a live safari, switching between Kenya, which is somewhere sort of in the middle of Africa but on the eastern side, and South Africa, which is right down, as you might have guessed, in the southern part of the African continent. For our regular viewers, don't forget to keep sending through your questions on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. We do love to hear from you, and of course we will be taking your questions once we've completed the school drive. But for now, the school's joining us. We are all yours. And what you're seeing is happening right here and right now in Africa, which is why I'm sitting in a mobile tent, because it's pouring with rain. Now, Bryce, you want to know if we're going to see any cheetah. Bryce, I really don't know. It's entirely possible that we could. I know that there's some lions up ahead of me. The Mara is one of the best places to see cheetah, so we could get lucky. I know that James is on the other side of the river, and he's going to be looking for things like that as well. So it's a bit unpredictable for us to tell you ahead of time, and that's because these animals are completely wild. So when we go out every afternoon, we have no idea what it is that we're going to find you. Now, speaking of finding you exciting things, I'm going to head off in the rain. Meanwhile, back in South Africa, the sun is shining and Byron has found a bird.
I have indeed, Jamie, and a wonderful bird, a very large bird, a vulture. Look at this, everyone, sitting on a nest. And we might be able to see some movement there shortly. There is a little chick in that nest too. Lovely to see this vulture and its chick. And Jamie, you are right. It is a beautiful sunny afternoon down here in South Africa, in Djuma, right up in the northeastern part of South Africa, in the greater Kruger. And a nice warm welcome to Dinwiddie Elementary and Port Tucketville. Always nice to have the schools with us. So we're starting with the school drive this afternoon. And my name is Byron, and on camera with me this afternoon is VM. So we're going to see what we can find you this afternoon. We had an amazing morning down here. We got to see male lion climbing a tree, trying to steal the kill from a leopard. It was actually, the leopard had moved off, it ran away. It got quite a big fright from the male lions. I think it was, we didn't see the leopard run away, but I'm assuming it saw these male lions coming and tried to get away from them. So two males actually went towards this tree, and then one of them climbed the tree and tried to get to this kill, and did feed on it a bit, but didn't take it out of the tree, which was interesting. Now, lions don't climb as well as leopards do, but it still managed to get up and get to some of that meat, which was very, very interesting to see. We might try and see if we can see them a bit later, but in the meantime, we'll continue and see what else we can find this afternoon. Now, autumn, you asked what is one of my favorite animals we on safari, or I see on safari, and it's an animal that I'm going to try and look for this afternoon. It's the African elephant. Now, I love seeing elephant. Like I said, they're one of my favorite animals. These massive, very intelligent creatures, and I do think the elephant are very intelligent. They can be peaceful at times, but if they feel threatened or in danger, they can also be very aggressive and very powerful. I love seeing the elephant, so hopefully, you never know, maybe we find some elephant this afternoon. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to head down towards some of the water holes. It's a nice warm afternoon, so I'm hoping that maybe we have some animals going down to drink. You never know. We could also bump into a leopard perhaps that's moved around and gone and settled near the water. They do occasionally like to do that. So we're going to be scanning very, very carefully. Now, it's actually still very dry in this area. Now, you can see there are not many leaves around, so it is still very dry, but we had our first few rains the other day and 2 nights ago, so I'm sure that the grass is going to start becoming green very, very soon, and the leaves are going to start coming out on all these trees. It's going to be really beautiful and lush and green. Valerie, you're asking, how long have I been in Africa? Well, Valerie, I've been in Africa for 32 years. That's how long I've been here. My whole life. But I've been doing safari guiding for about 11 years, give or take, 11, 12 years. Now, we've got these beautiful blue skies out here in South Africa, but our friends in the Mara have got rain. So let's go across to Brent and see how he's coping in the rain.
Hi guys. Well, unfortunately, we don't have smart covers like Jamie just yet, so we're trying to find some protection from the rain. You can just hear the wind buffeting around us. Now, there are 2 very big storms coming, one from the north of us, one from the south of us. So we've parked near the Olololo Gate, which is the entrance gate to the Mara Triangle Reserve, and we're just using the wall to hide a little bit from the wind and rain. My name is Brent. I have Craig, whose nickname is Batman, on camera. So, of course, we can't really film much at the moment. You can see there's a car in front of us, also hiding from the rain. That's about all we've got around us. Oh, hi, Tyler. Well, the rain's coming in there a bit. I'm going to have to try something. So Tyler was wondering, what is the vehicle called that I'm driving? Tyler, my vehicle is called Kitu. K-I-T-O, that is my vehicle. Of course, Jamie's in Mila. James is in Mila. Jamie is in Paka. Paka means cat, Kitu means stone, and Mila means tradition, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure which vehicle Byron's in. He is in either Rusty or Wendy or the Jigger. Now, Jigger is quite a funny name for a car, and it's because it had a bent steering rod, and in Zulu and Shangaan, which is the languages spoken where Byron is, to jiga is to turn. So the car used to turn by itself, but that's how it got its nickname. But it sounds like he's in Wendy. I can't remember how Wendy got her name, but she is a very nice car. But this Kitu is my favorite car of the cars in the Masai Mara, and tomorrow Kitu will have the fancy roof just like Jamie, and we'll be able to open little windows to film out of, even if it is raining and pouring. At the moment, everything's held down with lots of different straps and stuff. So, and I've sprung a leak. So while I fix my leak, let's go to Jamie, who's probably snug as a bug in a rug.
We are very snug in our properly covered up car. So this particular vehicle is called Paka, which means cat. And she certainly has lots and lots of cat luck. What we've done though is we've actually opened up one side because the rain has let up a little bit, and when I find you some lions, I want to make sure that you get the best possible view. So we've opened her up, and hopefully we'll be able to turn away from the rain. Now, Hayley, you want to know if all of the animals are wild here. Hayley, yes they are. At least all of the animals that we see in the park itself, so all the animals that we see in the reserve, are completely 100% wild. So they live wild, they catch their own food if they're lions, they run away from the lions if they're antelope, the elephants are wild, but they're used to cars, which is why we can go and see them. So even though they're wild, they've seen lots of safari vehicles come out ever since they were tiny. And as a result, they're very comfortable with us, even though they are wild. If you go up into the mountain, which is where our camp is, then you'll find some domestic animals. There you'll find cows and sheep and goats, and occasionally a donkey. So there are domestic animals up towards the mountain, but down here in the reserve, this is where the wild animals are. And speaking of wild animals, we're making our way towards where I know there are some lions. So hopefully they're enjoying the rain a little bit. Our lions are sleepy creatures during the day, but this might wake them up. Ooh, Tiffany, I don't know. Tiffany would like to know how many lions I've seen recently. I saw one last night, and the day before that I saw a pride of 18. Did I count? I think it was 18 plus 2 males, so that was 20, and then 5 cheetah, but that doesn't count as a lion. And then that morning, no, that was in the morning. The day before that, I saw a pride called the Black Rock Pride that James has been visiting recently. And they have 9 cubs, 3 females, so the mothers of the cubs, and 3 males. So how many does that make? 9 plus 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So I've seen lots of lions recently. There are lots of lions to be seen, luckily for us. Okay, I need to concentrate as we drive through the mud here. So what I'm going to do is send you all the way back to South Africa so that you can go and see one of the smaller antelope.
Well, be careful, Jamie. We don't want you getting stuck in the mud over there. Now, have a look at this, everyone. We found a very, very small antelope. Now, this is the smallest antelope we get in this area. It's called a Steenbok. A beautiful Steenbok. And you can see it's actually well camouflaged. Well done, Wiem. It's not easy to follow these little antelope through the long grass. They're not very big at all. And you can see they can hide and blend in to the grass very, very easily to hide from predators. That's a nice view of it. There we go. Beautiful. Now, Bella, you asked if I like animals. Of course, Bella, I love animals. All kinds of animals. And we're very lucky that we get to see these different wild animals out here. Everything from these small little antelope all the way to the big elephants. So we see a huge variety of animals. And I really do love the animals. I hope you all enjoy seeing them with us. Well, that's a nice little Steenbok. As I said, very, very small. If that little antelope was standing next to me, it would probably only be about this tall. Not very big at all. So very, very small little antelope, about that big. The smallest one we get in the area. Now, they're usually in pairs, so just 2 of them. Sometimes you'll find one walking around by itself, but I wouldn't be surprised if another one is around here somewhere. Now, they're not like some of the larger antelope that we get, that usually are in big family groups. One of those species being the impala. Now, we see a lot of impala, and hopefully we get to show you some this afternoon. But there are a lot of them around in this area, and they will be in big groups, sometimes 30 or 40 impala together. So they are very different to the little Steenbok that's usually just by itself or in pairs. Colin, you were wondering how are they in Africa? Well, there are a number of different species. So there are quite a few, Colin. I'm trying to think, do you mean how many different species or how many antelope altogether? Because together there'd be millions. There really are a huge amount of antelope spread out Africa.
Oh dear, it seems as though Byron has vanished, but that's okay. You're back in Kenya now, and we found our lion. And not only have we found our lion, but we found our lion that is looking to get some dinner. So you know how I said that the animals are wild, and that means that they have to hunt their own food? Well, the lions out here have to feed themselves. They can't go down to the shops and buy themselves something to eat. They have to go and catch it. And lions have to eat meat in order to survive, which means that they have to catch things and they have to kill them. Now, this particular lion is one of 4 lionesses that has cubs with her. So they're not tiny, tiny cubs anymore, which means that they're eating meat, which means that she has to work hard to keep them fed. There you go. So, Tori, you wondering about how much lions will eat in a day. Well, here's the thing about being wild, is that a lot of the time they don't eat every single day. In fact, they'll only eat roughly every second or third day, depending on how well the hunting goes, especially because there's no longer the migration is no longer here, so the wildebeest have all gone back. So, when they do eat, they eat as much as they can, as fast as they can, because, well, they don't know when they're going to have their next meal. So in that case, a lioness can eat between 5 and even up to 10% of her body weight. So if a lioness, oh, look at this, she's looking to see what she can catch. Oh, she's gonna go. She's gonna use those bushes to slink up, big stretch. There are 3 other lionesses somewhere here. I don't know where they are, and they are hungry. She's going to run to the next bush, and then I think that's where she's going to hide. Can you see if you can spot any of the other lions? They can hide really, really well. They're camouflaged, it's raining, and they're hunting those big antelope at the back. Those antelope are called eland, and that's what they're after. I can't see any other lions, can you? There we go, there's 2 of them now. 3 of them. There's some cubs there. That's where the cubs are. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to drive all the way around to where the antelope are. Now, Alison, you want to know if the lions are going to kill something. Statistically, Alison, probably not. So they could. It's possible. They are hungry. They're looking for something to eat. They've got babies to feed. So, yes, it's possible. But remember that only around about 1 in 10 to 1 in 12 hunts are successful. So that means the lions have to try roughly 10 times or even 12 times to catch their food before they manage. They don't always succeed, and in fact they fail more often than they succeed. And that's because, well, the antelope are very, very alert. They're very fast, and as soon as those antelope see the lions, they will run away, and the lions aren't going to bother to chase them. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't know if the lions are going to catch an eland or not. It's very difficult because it's sad to see an animal get killed, but you also know that the lions have to. They have to do it to eat. Now I just want to see what the lions are doing over there. There we go. There's lots of cubs here. There's all the little ones gathered together. Betsy, you want to know how long lion cubs stay with their mothers? Betsy, the answer is it depends. Oh, look, they're looking at a buffalo as well. There's some zebra as well. The lionesses are stalking forward now. Betsy, it depends on if they are a male or a female cub. So if it is a female cub, she'll actually stay with her mom probably her entire life, unless something happens. But lions live in prides, and that a pride consists of mothers and daughters and aunts and sisters. So it's all the females that are related to each other. So all these cubs are going to mess this up for these lionesses if they're not careful. They're playing in the rain. The animals are going to see them as they dash about. They're probably making noise as well. You can see the Thompsons have seen them. They're making their mothers' lives so difficult because they're just pouncing on top of each other and being very, very obvious. If it is a male cub, the male cub will leave at around about 3 years old or so. That is when they will leave their mothers, because that's when it comes time for them to move and go off in search of their own territory. Oh, little cubs. Lionesses have managed to get so close to the other animals, but their cubs are here. Ronald, lions can run very, very fast, much faster than you or I can run. Even if you are the fastest runner in your class, they can still run faster than you can. So I want you to picture, when you're finished with this, I want you to go outside, and as long as your teacher says it's okay, and I want you to walk 60 steps. No, let's not say that. I want you to walk 20 steps, but big steps. Walk 20 big steps. And then count to 1 second. And that is how fast a lion can run. So they can cover 20 meters in 1 second. That's 60 feet or so in 1 second. So they can run very, very fast. But they can't run very fast for very long, because essentially they get tired quite quickly, and that's why they have to sneak up on these antelope. Now, we are waiting for our cubs to find themselves, or for our lionesses to find a meal for the cubs. That is something that the lions on the other side of the river have already succeeded in doing.
Splendid. Have here watching little lion cubs now with their mother. They're tiny, only about 6 to 9 weeks old. There are 9 cubs here, and well, you can see that the clouds are streaming overhead, and we may be in for yet more rain. We've already had 2 storms today. My name is James Henry, and on camera today we have Sebastian. There is Sebastian's thumb, and we are a long way away from Jamie, probably about 40 miles or so. But here's another pride of lions known as the Black Rock Pride. And their very clever lionesses got hold of a wildebeest last night. They ate a wildebeest, which of course many of you will know is an migrating into the every single year. And they are just trying to stay warm now on their mums, because it is quite chilly out here. I wouldn't say it's much more than, I think 65 degrees or so. Manny, you want to know how lions get their fur? Well, Manny, put your head on top of your head, your hand on top of your head, and tell me, how do you think you got hair? You see, it just kind of grows on you. All mammals, Manny, every single mammal has got hair. It's one of the things that differentiates mammals from reptiles and birds and fish and frogs. We've all got hair, from lions to mice to elephants to whales to dolphins to human beings to bears to wildebeest. All of us have got hair, and it's there to keep us warm. It's one of the big reasons that we can live just about anywhere as mammals. Remember, you get mammals all the way as far as the North Pole, think of polar bears, and you get mammals all the way into the hottest parts of Africa, animals like an oryx or some desert rodents which look like desert mice. They live in the deserts. All of them have got hair, and without that hair they wouldn't be able to live in all those amazing places, because they would either get too cold or they would get too hot. That one little one lying on his mum's tum is looking so comfortable. Annalie, you want to know if I can make the animals hug me? Annalie, I cannot make the animals hug me. The reason for that is that we don't want to interact with these animals. Now, I know that it looks like these little lion cubs must be the best things in the world to try and hug, but we don't hug them because they are wild, and we want them to stay wild. We don't want them to live with human beings. We want them to live in the wilderness as well as they were created, or as they evolved to do. And that's what they're doing here. If you hug something like a lion cub, for example, so we could get one of those lion cubs probably if the mothers weren't there. also it would grow as big as one of those huge lionesses, and then they go wild, and it becomes impossible to keep a lion that is an adult like that, and then it becomes quite dangerous, of course, for the adult, because you've got to find somewhere to put it. And so we don't hug the animals here, we don't interact with them, we don't try and touch them, we don't try and have anything to do with them other than watch them, because that way they will survive better without us touching them. I hope that explained your question. It's quite a difficult one to answer. Ramol, you want to know if lion cubs fight all the times? No, Ramol, they don't fight all the time. Look at them there. They're not fighting, they're just playing. They don't fight at all. And Bella, you want to know if the baby cubs are mean? No, look at them, they're not mean, they're just playing there. I don't know if any of you have got dogs or cats at home, but you know how your dog or cat might sometimes play, bite you, and they don't bite very hard. You know that happens? Well, that's exactly the same with these cubs. They're biting each other, but they're not biting each other hard, they're just playing. Molly, you're wondering how many cubs a lion has at a time. Well, can be up to 6, normally about 2 or 3, sometimes 4, but normally if it's more than 3, she will struggle to look after them all. See how sleepy she's getting now, lying on Mum's tummy, lying on Mum's backside, which is very warm. Now, I know it looks quite cold here. If we look up at the sky, you can see the clouds are whizzing miles down to Byron, where I think it's quite sunny. He's in South Africa with some very special water animals.
Yes, James, it is very sunny here, and we are sitting with some wonderful big aquatic animals, or animals in the water, and a huge pod of hippo. Have a look at this, everyone. There are a number of hippo just enjoying the water. Look at that. Now, this water probably isn't that deep. I say that because the hippo can't actually swim. So they most likely standing or lying on the bottom of this little dam, just on the ground, and they can keep their heads above the water. And you see that one's actually standing up. You can see more of its back in the middle over there. So they can stand up, keep their heads above water so they can still breathe, but they prefer staying in the water during the day. So they're really enjoying the water. It's nice and warm, so they prefer staying in the water. It protects their skin. Quinn, you asked, have I ever been attacked by anything? No, Quinn, I haven't. Other than a few mosquitoes that bite us at night, but fortunately, I haven't been attacked by anything. But you do have to be very, very careful out here. You do have to be very careful out here. And one of the animals you do have to be especially careful of are the hippo. Now, the hippopotamus, why I say you've got to be careful is because they can be slightly unpredictable, and they can be aggressive if they feel threatened. Now, you need to remember that the animals would only really attack us if they feel scared or if they feel threatened. So if they think that we are trying to harm them, then they will probably either run away or try and attack you. Now, hippo are known for being aggressive. Now, the reason for that is people live quite close to water, and that in parts of Africa or near rivers where there are a lot of hippo. And if you get between a hippo and the water, that can be very dangerous, because for safety what they do is they run back to the water. They feel safe in the water. So if you're in the way, you've got to be very, very careful, because they'll possibly bite you. Now, they've got huge, wide mouths and incredibly big, sharp teeth. And they will be able to kill you with one bite if they do manage to bite you. And then they'll just run in. They don't eat you. Hippos don't eat meat. Well, not necessarily. So they wouldn't I say they don't necessarily eat meat. I've seen hippo feeding on carcasses, dead animals in the water from time to time. But generally, hippos are considered to be herbivores. That means they eat grass. So the hippo, what they do is they leave the water at night and they'll feed on the grass during the evening and then return back to the water again in the morning. That's why I say be careful of getting between them and the water, because that's when they could potentially bite you. And Brody, you were wondering, why do they have such a big mouth and such a strong bite? Now, the reason for that mainly is for their own protection. So the hippo, they do fight amongst themselves, and also to protect themselves from predators, maybe like lions. I know James and Jamie are seeing lions at the moment in the Masai Mara. Now, they need to protect themselves, these hippo, against those predators, but as I said, also against each other. They do fight. So those big teeth are purely there to protect themselves. Now, Miranda, the hippo, when the young are born, they're actually born out of the water, but very, very close to the water. And then what will happen is that mother will then take the little calf into the water very soon after it's born. But they are born outside of the water. Now, I might spend a little bit more time around this dam, see if anything else comes to drink. But let's go across to my friend James, who's got little lions he wants to show you.
Here are the lions. They are still sitting, trying to stay warm. And I must tell you, it's got very windy and very cold here. And so the lions will probably stay very close to each other for the whole day. And there's one there, if you look carefully on the left-hand side, his leg, trying to stay warm. It's a very warm place to be. And I'm very sorry that every so often the screen goes black. It's because the weather's so bad and we are every go black, and as soon as we go a little bit higher up here it should be better. But we won't see anything if we go any higher up from where we are now. You're interested in why lions attack other animals. Well, Sean, the reason is because they want to eat. And lions are what we call predators, and they are carnivores, and that means they eat meat. They can't eat vegetables. They can't have to eat meat. In order to eat meat out here, they have to kill other animals, unfortunately. Alright, we're going to try and find another position to park that gives you a better picture. Let's head across to Jamie and her lions.
So we've tried to get ourselves a better position as well to try and see the lions and what exactly it is that they're up to. And while we've been doing that, we've discovered something interesting. And that's that the lions are a lot further away from the animals than we thought they were. So we've moved around the side of them. And as you can see, it's still pelting down with rain towards the mountain. So we've moved down around the side of them, and there you go. That's how much space there is between the lions and the buffalo and the zebra. And even then, the zebra have seen them. See how the zebra are alert? They're looking back in the direction of the lions. Well, speaking of the lions and the fact that the zebra have seen them, Lee, you want to know why do lions look like cats? Because they're related to cats, Lee. So you're obviously thinking of your domestic house cats. Oh, look, they're running away now. They're nervous because they've seen those lions. Now, you're obviously thinking of your house cats, and in fact, lions' body language can be very similar. I don't know if you have a cat, Lee, but if you've ever seen them with their ears back and their tail lashing, you know that they're in a bad mood. It's exactly the same thing for lions. So, lions belong to the cat family, the Felidae family, just like dogs belong to the Canid family, and so do wolves. So you know how wolves are related to dogs? Well, lions are related to cats in a slightly different way. What lions can do, though, is that they can roar, which, of course, your house cat can't. So that's why lions look like cats. They're basically very, very big cats. And a very good question, speaking of... Oh, Lioness is looking... The zebra running has attracted her attention. Yes... lions are predators like spotted hyenas are predators, but spotted hyenas are not cats. So they don't fall into the cat family and they don't fall into the dog family. They actually fall into their very own family known as Hyenidae family. So that's basically a family that is made up of hyenas. Now the wind has changed direction and the rain is coming in. I don't know, Ferg, how you doing there? You good for now? Okay, cool. Not for much longer. It's definitely coming in. Miranda, you want to know how fast the zebra can run? Miranda, they can run very, very fast. Almost faster than the lions. So the zebra can run very fast, and they can actually run much longer than the lions as well. So they've got more stamina. Lions are like the sprinters of the wilderness, whereas zebra and wildebeest, they are slightly more long distance runners, so they can actually run for quite a long period of time. The rain is coming. Now rain is going to help this lioness. See, she did a big stretch just like your cat might at home, and she's walking in the rain. Now the rain is going to help her because the rain muffles the sound of their movement and keeps the animals unaware of their presence. It also hides their smell away. Oh, here it comes. Okay, I'm going to have to turn around. It's coming in properly now. Oh dear. Okay, we're going to turn around so that I can shelter us from the rain. Let's go back across to James, who I think has got slightly better weather.
Well, very, very slightly better weather. It's not fantastic at all. It's still pretty foul out here, but luckily it's not raining just yet, so we've still got these lovely lions. I am sorry about the picture being as difficult as it is. It is just dropping to black screen every so often. And look at the little one playing now. You see how animals out here don't have toys to play with, so they have to make their own toys, poor things. Imagine you had to chew a stick. Look, having a big stretch. Austin, you want to know if lions can climb trees? Yes, they can. They don't climb very well, but they can climb. They actually climb up very well, but they're not very good at coming down trees. And so sometimes it's quite funny to watch them, especially the adults. And when you next see Byron, I don't think you're going to see him again today, but Byron had a very special experience this morning with a lion that was trying to climb a tree, and he got up and he couldn't get down again, and it was very funny watching him sliding back out of the tree. When the little not very good at getting down. Very big animals, you see. I mean, the little cubs are not very big. They're about the size of, say, what kind of dog would we say? About a fox terrier, I suppose. And the males, though, are, at least the females, are enormous. About 300 pounds each. Huge. And 300 pounds, let's just think how many of there are you in your classroom. about 10 of you in one lion. Miranda, you wonder why lions are so big? Well, it's so that they can eat big things. They can catch things like buffalo and eland and kudu and waterbuck and zebra, which no other animals are able to catch because they're not big enough to catch them. So lions are able to catch the most enormous creatures. Haley, you say you're scared of lions, and you're wondering if I am too. Haley, I'm not scared of them. I have very much respect for them. And that means that I understand that they are very much stronger than I am, and that they could hurt me if they wanted to, but it also means that I understand that they don't want to hurt me. Now, you see how gentle they're being with each other, and then there's a lioness cleaning her little youngsters. We'll just quickly show you that one. And they're very gentle. They are only angry when they are threatened and when they are trying to hunt something. And so as long as I don't get in their way and make them angry, well, then I'm not afraid of them. But I do respect them very much. And that must be the same for all animals in the wilderness. All right, kids, you're going to carry on with school today. I hope it's quite fun for you. I know I remember my school days. Some were fun, some not so much. And I hope yours are fun always. We're going to say goodbye to you, and for the rest we'll hand you over to Byron in South Africa.
Welcome back to the tea tent. And we got so pummeled by the first storm, and we're now in a little bit of a lull between the second, but there's rain coming from in front of us and behind us. So chalky biscuits and tea seem to be the way to go. Remember, this is a live safari, and it's live in the rain at the moment. And very good. And hopefully it'll abate enough that Batman and myself can continue on our adventures and see what we can find. But at the moment we've had to reposition the car a couple of times to try and keep our backside to where the worst of the weather's coming from, so we could wait it out. It is looking a little bit better, but as I say, I quite worry there's another storm coming in from the other side. And the good news is that Chitwa tomorrow we'll have the same covers as Jamie's got, so we'll be able to be a lot more mobile during the rain. We won't have to batten down the hatches, sit for tea time. But speaking of someone who likes his tea, or actually particularly his coffee, and that's because he can't find the animals in the morning, he has to stop for a cup of tea, it's Byron in sunny South Africa.
Now we're sitting with still at the dam here at the moment, and we've got the Egyptian geese sunning themselves at the moment. They are actually beautiful birds, aren't they? Some beautiful markings, but they're all over South Africa, and they I know a lot of golfers don't enjoy the Egyptian geese because they almost litter the golf courses around South Africa, so you do find them all over, but they are quite pretty looking geese, aren't they? What a lovely warm afternoon now, and I was hoping we'd get lucky and see some elephants coming down to possibly drink, but it doesn't look like anything is coming down to the water just yet. But maybe, you never know, maybe we find some ellies a little bit later. I'm thinking what we might do is head up towards those lions and see if they're still around. I think they're still going to be there. But what I'm curious to find out is if those lions manage to pull the kill out of the tree and if they fed on it, or if those two kills are still up in the tree. So we'll go and have a look. I know the schools have left us. So I suppose a hello to our regular viewers. We didn't, for those of you who missed this morning, I'm back. It's good to be back on Safari Live. And Viam's on camera with me this afternoon. And Viam, you're here for a while, aren't you? I think, why don't we We've still just got a few hippo in the water, but I think let's make our way up to those lions and go and have a look and see if they are up to anything, or what the situation is, if anything has changed. I've got some great stories to share with everyone over the next few days. I did quite a bit of guiding while I was away and had some amazing sightings. So I got some interesting stories. Just having a look down this drainage line quickly. We're not sure where that male leopard moved off. Now, there was that male leopard that killed 2 impala the other day and hoisted both of them into a tree and fed on them and then was chased off by those lions. Now, I'm not sure where he went to. I'm thinking he may have moved... Oh, hang on, there's a monitor lizard. Look at this, on the damn wall. I'm going to stop here so I don't chase him down. There it is. A water monitor. Oh, that's nice. A nice surprise. Walking across the dam wall. So as I was saying, I just think that maybe that male leopard moved down in one of the drainage lines to get away from those lions. But I doubt he'd be very far because he was most likely quite full from feeding on that or those impala. There were 2 of them. That's a nice view of the water monitor. Now, these are the largest lizards in Africa.
Now, everybody, I'm sorry about that crash cut. I'm not sure why we crash cut away from the inimitable stories of Byron the Magnificent down... I don't know why I called him Byron the Magnificent. It is. I think it's got something to do with the audiobook I've been listening to of late. Anyway, Byron the Magnificent has had a small problem down Djuma. Di, you want to know why the cubs are not in a den when it's cold and rainy? Di, it's a good question. I think it's probably because the warmth offered by the communal bodies and the bodies of their mothers makes them want to stay around here. Also, of course, they can sup on a little bit of milk as and when they get a little bit hungry. And so... and so I think being around Mum is probably about as warm a place as they can be. Just remember that any animal out here doesn't feel cold like you and I feel cold because they're used to it. They don't know anything else. I suppose these cubs do a little bit in the den site that they've had, but many of them don't have this kind of, den site that they have over here. All right, we're going to go back to Byron the Magnificent. He has managed to continue his monitor lizard sighting.
An African cuckoo is calling. Sorry about that, everyone. We just seem to have lost signal there, but we're back, and this monitor lizard has moved a bit closer to us. As I was saying, the 2 species of monitor, the water monitor, this one, and then the other one is the rock monitor. The water monitor tends to get a little bit longer. However, the rock monitor is much thicker set. The body is a little bit wider, a little bit thicker, very powerful lizards. As I said, these monitor lizards, these water monitors especially, will raid nests, bird nests, ground nesting birds, try to eat the eggs, try to eat chicks. They will also feed on other reptiles. Look at that. That's a lovely view of it, though. Same as the rock monitor, it will climb trees and go into rocky areas looking for bird eggs, chicks, other reptiles. Very powerful lizards. It's just moving down the bank towards the river, towards the dam now. You can just see the tail disappearing. That was nice. Oh, what a nice little surprise. Now, take care. You were asking if the monitor lizards could get ticks. Now, I'm trying to think. Take care. I don't think so. I'll tell you why I say that. It's because they've got very thick skins. They've got very, very thick skins. I doubt a tick would be able to sit on one of these monitor lizards. I'm just trying to think if I've ever seen one with the tick on it. Not that I can think of, take care. Not that I can think of. It would be hectic if we did see one with the tick. Oh dear. Maybe too early for jokes, Vim? Such a beautiful day here today. Now, why don't we... I'm going to, as I say, head towards those lions, see if they're still there, see what's going on. While I do that, let's go to someone who loves my jokes and see what James is up to.
I must confess, I mean, it really pains me to say this, because it's the kind of stupid joke that you really don't want to laugh at, because what it does, of course, is it encourages further jokes like that. What an idiot. I suppose one should give him credit for thinking of them. I don't think I'd have thought of I don't think I'd have thought of that. Hectic, yes. Byron. Anyway, nice to have him back with his, he's certainly got a sense of humour. Whether one would describe it as a good sense of humour or not, well, that's up to the individual to judge. Now, I just want to take you away slightly from those cubs quickly and show you the weather. I don't think we've done enough looking at the weather. I know that Jamie and Brent are stuck in their tents. Sebastian and I were stuck in our tent twice today. We had a very nasty little encounter with some stormy weather. You might be able to hear our roof flapping. That's because the wind is blowing quite hard. But just look at this amazing kind of, severe scene moving past us. Blackened skies with these sort of sheets, if you like, of white cloud that in a blue sky would probably make you feel quite cheerful. Now, we are getting, of course, towards the evening now, about 5:30, so sort of tea time. And Adele, you're wondering about cats and when they hunt, and whether I've noticed certain big cats prefer certain times of day to hunt. Well, that's definitely true that they do. I would say that the animal with the most variable hunting time would be the leopard. I think that they hunt pretty much all the time. I would say that the cheetah are early evening hunters. Normally they will hunt between now and, say, 8 o'clock at night. And they definitely do hunt in the dark, we've seen that. And then the lions, I think, are the late night hunters. They will hunt from sundown, but normally they're the ones, if you find a cat hunting late at night, it's quite often, or most often, a lion. This is not in any way a strict way for animals to hunt, or strict rule of animal hunting. Certainly in areas where competition is less from other predators, rules tend to go out the window. Lions will hunt in the day quite frequently. We've seen them hunting in the day frequently when there's a lot of prey around here, when the wildebeest are around. There are some wildebeest not too far from here, but not enough to inspire them to get up and hunt now. So, yes, they do hunt at different times of the day, but that will vary from time to time. These guys, of course, are hunting now a stick and fighting over it. And there are two others having a severe wrestling match in front of us. You see them there, Seb? And I know we spent a lot of time with the cubs, but it is rather fun. Oops, the daisies. Book lover, you want to know how I think they'd react if I gave them a rubber ball to play with? I imagine they wouldn't know what to do with it, but I imagine once they'd got used to tossing it about and the bouncy nature of it, I'm sure they'd enjoy it very much, much the same as a puppy does, or a kitten. So they're not really dogs, are they? They're not puppies at all. The most often question, or most oft asked questions, I think, that I had in my first few drives as a guide at Safari Live was, do I think that lions would react to catnip? And well, John's just asked me that as well. John, I'm afraid I've absolutely no idea, but I would be very willing to do an experiment and just drop a little bit of catnip next to one of these lion prides and see how they reacted. It would be quite interesting to see. They're having such a game, and I think it's because they're too cold to sleep. And you can hear the wind blowing. There's one or two birds. In fact, there's a little bird in front of us. There on the edge of that stick there. And I think it's one of those sooty chats, but I might be wrong. Is it? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's got enough white on it. I think it is one of the chat species. Let me see if I can find it on my bird app. Oh, here we go. The car next to us is firing up, everybody. This could be fascinating. No, it's gone back down again. It has it's done some fairly amazing things. Right. No, I don't think it's a northern ant-eating chat. Maybe it is a sooty chat. I think that's probably what it was. I'm just checking my bird app here. I'm sorry, I keep getting these things in the way. The pink handles of my there we go. Marvin, you want to know why mammals are more social than reptiles? I'm not. I'm about as social as a crocodile. Marvin. It really does depend. It's a good question, though. Why are they more social? I suppose it would be for security. In the case of the lions, they are together, we think, largely for security. It's a very complicated discussion, but we think so. But there are a lot of mammals that are not social. For example, every other cat in the world, other than male cheetah sometimes, are not social animals. Bears are not social animals. We do get herd animals like wildebeest or bison or cob or reindeer. They're herd animals for protection, and also perhaps because their movement through areas, they move through areas on migration paths that are fertile for certain periods and then not really good for eating at other times. So there are probably a few reasons why they herd. Now, let's think of reptiles like crocodiles. They're more social than most mammals, actually. They don't interact in the same kind of complicated social way that these animals do, or that the hyenas do, for example, but they do often live next to each other and around each other. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there are some relatively social reptiles, probably not as many as there are mammals, but I think it just depends on whether or not they need to be protected or not, and what advantage it would confer. Remember, most reptiles, of course, is quite interesting. Most reptiles, obviously much smaller than mammals these days. They didn't used to be, of course. They used to be quite large when one thinks of a brontosaurus. But if you are little, the trick is to stay hidden if you want to avoid being eaten. And so if you are small, it serves you well to be on your own, because it's much easier to hide on your own than it is in a large group. So I think you'll find that's often why reptiles are alone. So there's a few reasons there, John. Now, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to use what Kirsten has suggested, but I warn you, everybody, the results could be horrendous. We're going to go back across to South Africa to what Kirsten has described as a very good band name, and I'm going to hope that Byron is not going to sing for you. We're going to go across to Byron and the Birminghams.
No, James, don't worry, I'm not going to be singing. We have found these two males again, just as I thought. They haven't moved away from these two kills, but they also have not decided to climb up and get to the kill. Now have a look. This male is looking up into the tree. There are still both carcasses up in the marula. And they haven't been fed on again. So after we left that male this morning, I thought maybe the other one would climb up, but have a look there. There hasn't been any feeding activity. They haven't climbed up to try and get to those kills again. Now it was interesting because the one male seemed to be protecting the kills. And just before we left, the one who climbed down, the brother who was feeding on the kill, lay very close to the trunk of the tree and waited there. The other male tried to move closer, and then the brother growled at him and kept him away. So it's interesting to see that they then decided not to climb up again. So he's obviously trying to keep that kill for himself. But it would be interesting to see him go up again. Hopefully he does at some point. I'm not sure. It could be fairly soon. It could be later this evening. Alright, now I'm going to sit with these lions a little bit longer, but Jamie's got some lions who seem to be stalking at the moment. Let's go find out what they're stalking.
We're back with the Angama ladies, and now we've got a far better view of the following events that are about to unfold. So they've given up on the eland. They're hunting zebra. To those of you that have just joined us, welcome to one of the most extraordinary sightings that one can experience out here in Africa. We are coming to you live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya, where, as you can see, it's been pouring with rain, which is, of course, perfect hunting weather for the lionesses of this area. Now, typically, the lionesses will hunt as the rain begins and as the animals struggle to hear them and struggle to smell them. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Ferg is on camera with me, and we don't want to miss a moment of the action. The lioness just moved forward a little bit. There's a zebra on the left that I think might have spotted her. So just to set the scene from you, this is live from the Masai Mara in Kenya, and because it's live, you can send through your questions in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you as this progresses. And you can see their intended target. Now, the lions are probably, I would say, still around about 100 yards or so from these zebra. So they've still got a way to go, and it's very, very difficult terrain for them. The Great Migration has flowed through here and cleared away all of the long grass, leaving behind just a few scattered herds of zebra and some other antelope for these lionesses to hunt. But what it means is that they can no longer hide in the long grass. You can see the lioness has gone down. She's looking across at the zebra. Now, one zebra has seen movement. It hasn't seen there's a lion, it's seen that there's movement. And now the lionesses have got to be very, very careful. All four of them are stalking forward, but they've lost the advantage of the rain now. The rain has stopped for now. And the keen-eyed zebra is waiting for just the tiniest flick of the tail or twitch of an ear that would give her position away. Okay, zebra's relaxing again. Looking across behind him. And as soon as he drops his head, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start that entire process again. So for those of you watching, forgive me. We're going to start the entire introduction again because we had some problems. So you'll hear where we are for probably your 6th time this afternoon. Hello and welcome to those of you joining us on a very cool, cloudy and rainy afternoon here in the Masai Mara. But of course, rainy afternoons are where all kinds of things unfold here in the wilderness of Africa. A quick introduction, my name is Jamie and this afternoon Ferg is bringing you the amazing images that we're watching. And as I said, live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya, where the weather has been somewhat gloomy, but the sightings most definitely have not. Now, all of this is playing out live. We're watching this lioness as she creeps forward, moving closer and closer towards an unsuspecting herd of zebra. There's not much cover between her and the zebra. She's got to play her cards right. But luckily for her, as with most lions, she's got the backup of 3 other lionesses. So this pride is known as the Angama pride. And I know that for many people, watching a hunt is always a difficult experience because, of course, you sympathize, especially when the zebra are so clearly unsuspecting and so very vulnerable. But it might help you to know that this lioness has cubs. And in fact, all 4 lionesses of this pride have cubs, 13 between them. So they've got to keep them fed. They haven't had a meal in at least a day, I think probably longer. So they really are quite hungry, and they really need this attempt to be successful. There's just one zebra, just the one, that has seen the lioness. He hasn't exactly realized that it's a lioness. Something's wrong. The zebra's instinct is telling him that something is wrong. He's obviously picked up on movement in some way, and he's a little bit to the left there. No, that's not him. Where is he? Oh, that's him. That was him. No, that's him. He's obviously calmed down and relaxed and decided that he's not under threat, and that in turn will be the lioness's cue to start moving. So what you'll see the lionesses doing is popping their heads up every now and again, watching what the zebra are doing, watching to see if they lift their heads up. And as soon as they do, they stop and they freeze and they rely on their natural camouflage. And then when the zebras drop their heads to feed again, then they will sneak forward. Now, she's got to be really patient about this. It's not going to be an easy one for her. There's just no cover. There she goes. She's decided all of the heads are down. Look at that. Body held low to the ground. That characteristic slinking motion. Remember, this is live, so we have no idea how it will play out. 1 in 10 lion hunts are successful. The other 9 out of 10 are not. Which one will this be? Will this be where she beats the odds? She has the backup of the other lionesses. We can't see them at the moment, but they will come into view in a few minutes as the stalk progresses. I love watching that pose of the lionesses when they go into that stalk motion, and all of a sudden they go from sleepy, quite beautiful looking cats to something pure and focused and driven. Do you see what I mean? Muscles bunched, and you become so aware of the primal nature of the lion. She's covering down quite quickly. The zebra are obviously all not paying attention to her. Looking behind, where's her backup? Don't lose focus, girl, or someone will see you. The zebra will see you. She obviously knows she's got the protection of that termite mound, which is why she's moving so quickly. Remember, we can't see things from her perspective. So from her angle, she'll be able to gauge whether or not the zebra will spot her, and that will change the speed of motion. That will determine how quickly she goes. It's amazing watching these lionesses hunt because they are such a slick, well-oiled team. And what to us as humans looks like a bad decision or a bad position or a bad placement for one of them, almost immediately becomes easy to understand when you watch the way that they hunt and watch the way the animals panic. And so often, when I've thought, oh, these lionesses have failed, they've messed it up, so often one of them just proves to be in exactly the right position, that burst of speed when they need it. She's coiled, she's ready, she's moving much faster now. She's obviously got the advantage of that small ridge. Look at her moving through the grass. Scottish, welcome. Thank you for sending through your question. No, very few animals out here, except perhaps Bulch down. One of the zebras obviously looked up. You can see immediately reacting. Sorry, Scottish. Look, she's getting so much closer. But immediately reacting to the movement of the zebra. Scottish, no, most animals out here will die of old age. Their senses become slightly blunted, and that makes them an immediate target, and that could be what she's looking for at the moment. The young, the old, and the injured. That will be her focus. And the amazing thing is that she's already communicated which zebra she's going to go for to the rest of the lionesses, or at the very least, she's communicated where they need to go. It's amazing. The black on the back of her ears, see, she's glancing back towards the rest of them. The lioness is now up and moving. There's a second lioness in play, back to where she was originally. She's going to try and slink around these zebra and chase them back towards the waiting lionesses. This is extraordinary what you're getting to witness. The open spaces of the Masai Mara allowing you a really unparalleled opportunity to watch this coordination of a hunt. Now, all of you apparently sitting on the edge of your seat. I am as well. My heart is pounding, as it always does in these moments. Stephen, you say this is your first live lion hunt. Stephen, it's a thrill to have you on board with us, and I hope that it's something that you find quite as extraordinary as we do. Because regardless of whether she catches one or she misses one, what you're seeing is one of the rawest things that you can witness in nature. A mother searching for food for her cubs, and the zebras just trying to get by. They're completely unaware. You can see it in their body language. Brenda, you say she looks so close and that you're holding your breath. I am as well. She is probably now at this point, I'm just trying to see, it's starting to get a little bit gloomy. I would say, to be honest, Brenda, I think the camera's making her look a little bit closer than she is, but she's still close. She's about 50 yards away, and at this point, it's going to be spring or fail, because she won't be able to get that much closer to the zebra without giving her position away. So she's really got to act, and when she does, it will happen so quickly. But before she sort of gets into that position, let me just show you what's developing off to the right of her. So the three lionesses, remember I said there are four here. See, look at this coordination. The three lionesses are lined up behind her, waiting to see which way she's going to chase the zebra. So she's going to try and guide them towards those lionesses that are waiting in ambush, hidden away, stalking slowly towards her. She's looking back, judging where they are. There's no point to her racing forward if the other lionesses are not in position. Looking back to make sure the zebras haven't seen her. It's one of those moments where time almost seems to stand still. And often in lion hunts, everything frozen in sort of expectation. Or at least we are, perhaps. She's going to look back towards her, the rest of her pride. And this is where the bonds between these lionesses are so essential. So they would have grown up with each other, whether they are mothers or daughters or aunts or sisters. They have such close bonds. They spend almost every waking moment, and sleeping moment actually, of the day with each other, sleeping in a pile, cuddled together, playing together, everything to prepare them for this. Now they will have picked out a target, and it probably won't be an adult zebra, although you never know. There are 4 lionesses. See the little foal at the back? That is a very, very possible target. Now, Kayleen, possibly, if the lionesses were to go for that zebra foal, there is the possibility that the stallion and the mare would try to protect it. So stallions are very, very protective over their harem of females as well as their little foals. So yes, he might try to step in. Often you'll find, though, that that's a mistake for the female zebra, and often, more than once, I have seen a female that is killed as a result of trying to save her little one. I have seen zebra trying to chase hyena away. So yes, they can occasionally get quite protective, but chances are with 4 lionesses in that sheer panic, chances are they will just try and sprint away and escape with their own lives. Now the lionesses poised and waiting, there we go. Perhaps gauging exactly which way they're going to move in. And now this becomes a game of patience. Cheryl, you say, come on, Miss Lion, make your move. This is where, as I said, patience comes in. If she lunges too soon, these zebra will outpace her, outrun her, and they will be gone in the blink of an eye, and she will be left with nothing to show for it. All that she will do is waste her energy, and the next hunt will be that much harder, that much more demanding. And if she repeats that process too many times, it will get to the point where she'll simply be too exhausted to be able to hunt. And that's not an option for her, not with the hungry cubs left behind. But this is where the problem is really going to come in. Okay, the rain is arriving once again. That's going to help her. But now, there's an additional consideration here. The lionesses know what they're doing. The lionesses have done this so many times, countless times, too many to count. They've practiced and perfected this method, and everything now is left to circumstance and chance. The fact that the zebra are walking away from them makes it that much harder. But what's going to make it even harder is out of the corner of my eye, little scampering rascals are about to give everything away. It is so difficult for these lionesses because they've got these teenage cubs who just want to help and they just don't know what they're doing. And they've arrived at exactly the wrong moment because the second lioness is making her move, moving in a pincer-like motion to the right of the zebra, whereas the first lioness is to the left of them. There she goes. So a perfectly formulated pincer movement. Little cubs, sit down, or you're going to ruin everything. He doesn't know. There's only one way to learn. That lioness is moving forward now very rapidly. You can see her stalking through. Okay, she's still got a way to go. We've now got a second cub that's moved in. Hello, Mum. Let me come up and give you a big cheek rub and show you how happy I am to see you. Not helpful, little one. Not helpful at all. The oldest Angama cubs that belong to this pride, they are over 6 months old. In fact, they must be around about 9 months old now, which means that instinct to hunt is there, but the knowledge and the experience is not. And what's worse is they've brought the little ones. They've brought their little cousins along as well. So you see how these cubs have got a sort of a rangy teenage look about them. Their instinct is now going to be driving them to try and hunt with the females, but all they're going to do is give their position away again and again. Until they learn. Second lioness on the move again. I'm going to keep an eye on the first lioness as well. So the zebra are moving more towards where the second lioness is aiming. That little foal, I had my eye on it a moment ago. It was dashing backwards and forwards in that playful way of innocent youth. Here we go. Zebra moving further. The opportunities for the lionesses. The lionesses are going to lose that opportunity if they don't move soon. Zebra are getting too far away. Lioness number 3 is up. She's using the termite mound to guide her. Brenda, you say if it isn't the males, it's the cubs ruining the hunt. I know exactly what you mean, Brenda. Last night, apparently, James was with the Black Rock Pride on the other side of the river, and the male lions started roaring in the middle of their hunt. Being a lioness presents a lot of difficulties in life. Oh, she's locked onto that baby zebra, or she was. It's so tiny compared to the adults. Not much of a meal, though. They might decide to tackle something larger. So now we're going to have to keep our senses on high alert. All 3 lionesses have moved up. The 4th has stayed behind with the cubs, which I think is probably the best approach. So there's 2 and 3. And there's 4. Keeping a watchful eye on mischievous youngsters that really, they just want to help, but they don't know what they're doing. It's starting to rain again. This is what the lionesses have been waiting for. The rain will muffle their sounds and dampen their smell and make the other animals far more jumpy. Where's that first lioness? What is she doing? Where is she gone? There she is. Patience. Patience. Oh, absolutely any moment could be the moment. Sky, you say that you just love the black ear tips peeking up. I know exactly what you mean. It does really become so clear when you watch them at this distance, and when you watch them in this kind of context, it becomes so clear why they have those black tips to the ears, because it stands out so very clearly. You can imagine how it acts almost as signals. In fact, it acts exactly as a way of signaling. Oh, 4th lioness is up. Don't follow, little cub. You just sit there. There's 2. There's 3. All 4 lionesses now prowling closer. The zebra is still completely unaware of the danger that's around them. But the black tips, absolutely. See how clearly they stand out? The lioness's way of communicating to each other. She's looking across at the first lioness. The rain is getting harder. And there are more zebra coming in from the left. So although the first herd has moved past them, there are more. Stephen, certainly that is sometimes the case. So while we look at the zebra that are around the ridge and moving towards the lionesses, or at least past the lionesses, Stephen is saying that if the zebra do spot the cubs, perhaps their attention might be drawn to them and not to the lionesses. The problem with that, of course, is that a zebra know instinctively that where there's one lion, there could easily be another. There could easily be 3 or 4. Ooh, fighting zebra. Distraction. Young stallions kicking at each other, biting, vying for dominance. They might not get to see the day that they become dominant if they're not alert. Look at that, rearing up at each other. For now, this is actually progressing to be quite a nasty fight between 2 zebra stallions. And zebra fight very aggressively and very ferociously, and they often inflict really painful looking injuries on each other. And in fact, a lot of the time when you see a zebra with a missing tail, it is due to the fact that it's been bitten off by another zebra, not by a lucky escape from a lion. Now, this sort of behavior is what draws the lion's attention immediately, because they know that those zebra are not focused. He's knocking the other stallion to the ground. Can't believe it, a lion hunt and a zebra fight in one particular moment here in Kenya. And just a reminder for those of you that have just jumped on board, this is all playing out live in the Masai Mara here in Kenya, which gives us an unparalleled opportunity to watch these lionesses as they stalk towards an unsuspecting herd of zebra. So Stephen, yes, the cubs might draw the attention of the zebra, but they will also put the zebra on high alert. And what the zebra will often do when they see cubs like that is they'll canter just that little bit too far away from the lionesses for the lionesses to be able to launch their attack. And then they'll stop. Look at these zebra stallions. Can you believe it? Still not a properly serious fight yet. We'd know all about it. A proper serious zebra stallion fight shifts up several gears, and you can really see the aggression. But this is painful enough as it is. The zebra's grabbing, one male grabbing onto the other's neck and hanging on. You can see the ears back. Now you might actually hear the engine of another vehicle starting up behind us. That's simply because we are in a reserve where there are other safari vehicles. So there's quite a few people who are enjoying this sighting with us.